Hello everyone, wherever you are, and welcome to Tsukuba. Good evening everyone here in the Ibaraki Prefecture. Welcome everyone to round 3 of Formula Hololive Japan. After a month-long break after the 5th Fest, the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji, we now set our sights here in Tsukuba Circuit. As we mentioned here, is a very popular circuit for time attack and for time trials, but we'll go into that in a bit more detail as we get into the track map first. So it's round 3 of Formula Hololive Japan qualifiers for the 2024 season, and it's going to take place at Tsukuba Circuit, 2.045 kilometers. That is the track length for this track, 12 corners in total. We're looking at a lap count of 123 laps, covering 250 kilometers because we're covering, actually, it's the Tsukuba Super Prix, and right now tonight's the Split A race. Looking at target lap time of 144, sorry, no, it's not even 144, it's a 0:44.942. And you can see here it's the fastest lap time in ARO competitions, and we have the most laps in ARO competitions as well with 123 laps. Qualifiers round 3, apologies if the Japanese says it's qualifiers round 2, that is a bit of an error on our end, excuse us. Now, this circuit is best known as a time attack track and may be a bit too small for these Formula Hololive cars ripping across the racetrack here, but it is well known for its time in Gran Turismo games, and also Best Motoring, who often go to this track for their time attack sessions, testing out multiple cars from Japan and abroad. It's this Formula Hololive Japan season's night race, so everyone has got to be excited to see the Formula Hololive cars under the lights here in the Tsukuba Circuit. So let's take a look into the spotters guide for the Split A race. We have our usual suspects, Alto Centauro currently a third in the Split A stand. We'll cover that later. Lorenzo Ricci, who have already won one race in Formula Hololive Japan, and that was back in Sepang, in the Sepang Super Prix, Sepang Grand Prix this season. Already racking up 2 wins in Formula Hololive since the start of the series in 2023. And then we also have other drivers that we also wanted to talk about later on after this, as we're going to need to take a look into another driver that we also want to pay attention. Hoshizono Ryo makes his Formula Hololive debut and his ARO competitions debut in general. He replaces Jeff Clark in the number 18 Nakiri Ayame Formula Hololive car. Lots of very good drivers here, as well as you can see also Kamen Riba in the Shirobota number 43, who has also grabbed a win this season in the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split A race. It's the only JB class car to receive an overall win in the Capture the Moment Grand Prix, excluding the Invitational race, of course, because the Split B and C race were won by EN class cars. As you can see here, there are not many changes in the driver lineup. So let's take a look into the splits standings, as we're going to be taking a look into the standings after 2 races in Formula Hololive Japan. With 3 races to go, including this one, we're looking at Vlasa Damashev leading the pack by quite the margin. He actually leads 35 points ahead of Kamen Riba in the Shishirobota number 43. Of course, Damashev continues to represent Akilosatol at the highest level. Alto Centauro coming off of 2 consecutive 4th-place finishes. He hasn't been at his best in Hololive GT3, but to see him vindicate that by getting 2 consecutive top 4 finishes in Formula Hololive for Nekoma Takai has got to be at least a saving grace in the season. Lorenzo Ricci, of course, not being able to capitalize on the race on the season opener in the Capture the Moment Grand Prix race, as he finished only in 15th. Tyler Williams, of course, makes his comeback after getting his 2nd place, if I'm not mistaken, at the Fuji Speedway in round 2. Richie Rod as well in the Split C race, but it will count towards the Split A standings. Masaki Kurashio, who have won the Qualifiers Championship in Hololive GT3 for Lapos Narcos, and has won the Invitational race, which is the Hololive Honeyworks Invitational. He currently sits in 7th place, although the Honeyworks rate doesn't offer points. It still is a win nonetheless. Michael Turner, Colin Gibbons, and Sean Pauly rounding out the top 10. Colin Gibbons has something to prove, especially with Roboko already reaching 1 million subscribers, which is a very big achievement for her. I mean, obviously, Gibbons is going to try to bring home a good result for Roboko. And of course, we have Raj Kaczynski, Crystal Salman, Ria Lee, Fabian Mendes, Alex Gransenful, And right now it's listed as Jeff Clark, but it will change to Hoshizuna Ryo once we get this thing sorted out. So anyways, the clock is about to strike to like 9 p.m. So we're gonna go on to intermission. I'm Awasana Reza in the commentary booth, and it's just me in the commentary booth right now, and looking forward to see some very great racing action here in Tsukuba as we're about to get this qualifying session finally underway. Thank goodness. As you can see here, the clock has already ticked down, and unfortunately there has not been any movement in the pit lane here as everyone just stays put, but not anymore. And as you can see here, first driver out on track has got to be one of the more recent Formula Hololive race winners, the Kamen Rider representing Shishiro Botan, who have won the Split A race of the Capture the Moment Grand Prix weekend. He has a lot to play for. Obviously he's vying for that top 10 in the qualifier standings in Split A. He's aiming to get himself into the Suyo Cup for Formula Hololive Japan, and obviously he has got a lot to prove. And obviously he's already proven that with a win back at Fuji. But let's see if he's able to continue on this good form. As you can see here, let's go on board to Kamen Rider for a hot lap here in Tsukuba Circuit. Coming into turn 1 here, just a bit of an uphill. When you reach turn 1, just hit the brakes there. Hang on that arc to turn 1 in second gear. Then coming into the fast speed into 2, 3. And then once you get in the exit turn 3, immediately brake into turn 4. Try to get that good arc going into turn 4. And then coming into right-hander turn 5, just dab the brakes a bit. And 6, 7, 8. And then once you get on this left-hander, slightly brake a bit on this slightly cambered left-hander, which is, I believe, it's turn 11. And right now we have this very, very short back straight coming into turn 12. Just needs a bit of a lift and a downshift, maybe a bit of a braking there, down to 5th gear. And that should be a lap here in Tsukuba Circuit, as he says a 45.554 for the Italian. And right now, Kamen Rider is going to try to again for another better lap time here, and as you can see here, tries to get on that second sector timing beam, and he is slightly faster on his own second sector, or rather Hoshizuna Ryo's second sector times, or was that his first sector times? And sorry, first sector time for Riba. Now coming into the second sector timing beam, which is around just over here. He is faster than Hoshizuna Ryo by a 1/10 of a second, so Kamen Rider is a clear favorite to steal this pole position spot away, and there he is, 45.412 for Kamen Rider. Meanwhile, let's take a bow at Hoshizuna Ryo, who's actually faster, but now just slower than Fabian Mendes. As you can see here, Fabian Mendes sets the 45.029, Tristan Salman sets the 45.171, and Hoshizuna Ryo making his debut for Nakiri Aime. He's now in second, only 1/10 of a second of a lap slower than Fabian Mendes in the Hakuri Koyori number 54. And you can see here Roland Zarichi also sending a very, very good lap time here, only 200ths of a second behind Fabian Mendes there. Obviously, give some of these drivers a credit here, but you can see here they're still trying to get themselves very, very closer, but none can be closer to Fabian Mendes. And actually, look at this, Rustin Caraccio, 0.004 of a second slower than Fabian Mendes, and even if you adjust this to longer circuits, it's still going to be about 0.8 of a second slower. But as we say, that Fabian Mendes continues to improve on his lap time, and our lap time targets have been beaten. And now we're looking at drivers already getting into the high and mid 44.8. And as you can see here, Fabian Mendes currently having a pretty okay season up to this point, though he is currently outside of the Suyo spots. He's currently 2, 3, 4 positions off of the Suyo series, currently set to only be in the Zako. But for now, he's doing a very good job for himself to at least try to get himself closer to the front, at least closer to the top 10 as possible. And as you can see, he already has a time good enough for pole, but that might change throughout this session as we are now crossing into 10 minutes before the end of this qualifying session. Alex Durando has not been at the races so far, with him being a second slower than Fabio Mendes. But now you can see here Rossi Crosby manages to get himself to second, and also Michael Turner too getting into 6th place. Meanwhile, we're going to be taking a look into some of the other entrants in this field. We're looking at 13 drivers within half a second of Fabio Mendes, and as you can see here, we're looking at Vlad Tomashev also seeing some improvements. Also Richie Rod. Also, if you want to know about Richie Rod, he's had a very nice race in the previous time out at Fuji in the Captain Moment Grand Prix Split C race, where he has the cornering ability to probably beat the eventual race winner Bernardo Santiago for Watson Emilia. But due to Bernardo Santiago managing to defend Richie Rod where he counted the most in the corners, because Bernardo Santiago has set up his car for the straight line, he's able to really extend the gap at the front when when it mattered. Because if you take a look into what he does on the racetrack, excuse me, as we're watching Formula E and basically covering this aero qualifying at the same time. But yeah, Bernardo Santiago has that straight line speed, and he's able to defend Richie Rod in the corners and the dying stages of the Split C race. And with that, Bernardo Santiago manages to get his first win in aero competitions, despite this technically being a guest entry for him, and he's not even racing for points. But for Richie Rod, this is also a good season, a good time for him to get himself into the Tsuyo. With him getting that second place, he is now at least slightly closer than ever basically to take the lead in the Split A standings. Obviously, he races in Split C in the CTM Grand Prix weekend, but obviously some of the Split C drivers have their results counted towards either Splits A or B. But for Richie Rod, he at least get himself a bit closer, and that should be celebrated for Rod. Well, that's enough Richie Rod talk for today, as we're going to be taking a look back into the qualifying order. You can ask for a closer qualifying session than this right now. Russell Garaccio is only a thousandth of a second between himself and Fabio Mendes, who basically two Hololive drivers who are going to be battling for supremacy. Obviously, Russell Garaccio represents Lavas Dark, just the founder of Hololive, and Fabio Mendes is the brains of Hololive, which basically is Hakui Kori. Well, Fabio Mendes represents Hakui Kori, of course. And meanwhile, we're going to be seeing some drivers already making it into the pit lane, as Russell Garaccio sets a 45.287. Wants to just train his race pace. Also, Sean Pauly with a 45.049 gets himself into the top 5. Anyway, Fabio Mendes hasn't had a pretty good season up to this point. As we mentioned here, finishes outside the top 10 in one of these races, in one of these first two races, but now he is at least vindicating it with a potential pole position. He is in provisional pole right now. Also, we have Russell Garaccio currently in second place here, still trying to find improvements. Obviously, Russell Garaccio was there inside. He's still inside the Tsuyo series, Tsuyo Cup. We won't lie about that, but it was dented in Fuji, where he basically got himself spun out of contention from basically continuing any further to challenge himself for the race win. Well, challenging other drivers for the race win, that is. And he's currently in the mid-pack of the top 10. Meanwhile, who is not inside the top 10, or rather inside the top 3, is Alton Tannerau, representing Nakamata Okayu in the number 5 car. He has had a very good season in Formula Hololive at the very least. In Hololive GT3, he has been very unlucky. He has shown signs of hope and signs that he is able to get himself into the mix with the other drivers on top, which is basically Vlad Tomashev and Lorenzo Ricci. Speaking of Tomashev, he's currently down in 12th. Lorenzo Ricci is in 3rd, so Ricci is in a very solid position for him to get a very good points day and to get himself in giving himself further amounts of security for him to stay inside the CO Cup spots. Meanwhile, Santara currently mired in the mid pack. As you can see here, how difficult it is to overtake here in Tsukuba Circuit. And so Santara just trying to get himself by. And meanwhile, take a look at the real Liu finally finding a lot of pace there. 600ths of a second faster than Fabio Mendes on that on that final corner and that final sector there. Real Liu it now snatches pole position away from the Hakui Koiri driver. I just wanted to share with you a bit of a backstory here between Real Liu and Fabio Mendes there. Both of them actually have a rivalry between each other, which basically parallels Koiri and Chloe. Also, the Masha gets himself into 7th. Anyways, both of them are in a rivalry between each other on who is the better one. At least for Koiri and Chloe, they've gotten themselves into playful spats between each other. And as for Real Liu and Fabio Mendes, they have their spats decided on the racetrack. Koiri and Chloe once basically argued about who copied who on the original uniform front back when Hololive were receiving their original idol uniforms. Koiri and Chloe of course argued on who copied who, and then they got into a small fight. Fabio Mendes and Real Liu also got into some of the fight between each other. It's a sort of rivalry between the two, but of course it is still friendly between both of them. Of course, both of them failed to qualify for the CO Series in Hololive G3 owing to both Koiri and Chloe's lack of commitment in the original uniform. However, they are quite competitive in Formula Hololive here, and as you can see here, it's a Hakui Koiri and Takamata Chloe front row, with the latter getting the pole position spots. Also wanting to highlight this fact, Russell Caraccio is also in 3rd place, which essentially means that the Hololive's cars are locking out the top 3 spots. And meanwhile, we have a bit of a challenger here up front with Hoshizono Ryu, 44.869 for the rookie here, representing Nakiri Ayame. So, obviously, he's got some weighted expectations for him as well, as you've seen here on the standings. In the standings order, as you've seen in the pre-race previews here, the Nakiri Ayame drivers have not been able to at least score points in the first 2 races of aero competitions, despite Ayame of course committing a lot to the bright uniform when it comes to idle performances. Hoshizono Ryu now makes it a provisional pole for him. Now this is a serious amount of hope there for the Nakiri Gumi here. Nakiri Gumi has not seen a Formula Hololive win so far for Nakiri Ayame. Maybe Hoshizono Ryu in his Formula Hololive debut might give an upset to all the veteran drivers out there who have had 10 or more starts. Someone already having more than 10 starts in Formula Hololive after this race. Hoshizono Ryu on only his first is gonna try to upset the pack here as he peels into the pits for probably a very quick pit stop before he tries out for one last hurrah for him to extend his gap in the qualifying order. Meanwhile, Vasa Damasha disrupts the Hololive's order even more. Currently 2nd place in the split A standings. Vasa Damasha has done wonders for the the Rosetai, with him already being in taking the lead in the split A standings in the qualifiers for Formula Hololive Japan 2024. Tsukuba Super Pre is about to see an upset pole sitter on his debut, no less. Meanwhile, we're looking at further ramp-ups in lap time here. Alcantara 44.888 for the former fan that now probably turned into an Onigiriya. And Taro, of course, excited to get himself up further into the top 5, but he needs to beat Rasim Caraccio and the other Hololive drivers. We're in the final minute of qualifying. And right now looking into Callum Gibbons, only down in 15th place. Raja Kaczynski still in 16th place, obviously being involved in that lap 1 incident with Michael Turner as well at the start. And he wasn't able to make a comeback drive in Formula Hall in the last race at Fuji Speedway. compared to his compatriot Michael Turner, who was also involved in a lap 1 incident in that same race. So this will be a test of mettle to see where Roger Kaczynski ends up here. And as you can see, Roger Kaczynski is about to be overtaken by Vlasa Damaja, who is more superior than Roger Kaczynski. So Roger Kaczynski has to concede. So we have Hoshizuna Rio coming across the line. He's still slower. Leo's slower. Vlasa Damaja might cross the set for a second timing being. He's only a hundredth of a second slower than Hoshizuna Rio. He should be able to beat Liu if this continues. Going to go on to Vlasa Damaja for the rest of this session. Well, for the rest of this lap at the very least. Coming into the second time being, you can see Vlasa Damaja has made a decision to make his way into the pits. Liu crosses the line. Johan Sinfeld is about to cross the line. Roger Kaczynski will be the last driver to cross the line. No changes between them. It is confirmed. Hoshizuna Rio is going to be your pole sitter for the Tsukuba Super Pre Split A race. What a shock. The debutant in his first ever race in Formula Hololive Japan. First time representing the Nakiri Gumis and Nakiri IMA, and this is what he got. Obviously, it's a very nice time for him and for all involved. And you can see here, let's get on to the timetable here and also the starting lineup for the Tsukuba Super Pre Split A race. And so anyways, let's take a look onto the starting lineup here with Hoshizuna Rio. Hoshizuna Rio are in his first race for Formula Hololive, not having a lot of time on that car. Finally sets himself in pole position for Nakiri IMA. An upset to a very high degree. And then we have Liu second place for Sakamata Chloe in car number 96. Vlasa Damaja third for Aki Rosenthal, the championship leader. This is where he starts. Fabio Mendes fourth, one of the drivers outside the top 10 to be inside the studio spots. Actually, this also counts Liu as well. Sorry about that if we forgot. And Rosen Crasho fifth right now. He wants to try to basically atone for the mishap that has happened in Fuji last month. Dr. Santana hopes he can get himself into the podium and continue to celebrate like he's won the championship for Nekomata Okayu. Chris Salman 7 for Aski. It was a bit emotional for Aski performing alongside her Inonaka counterpart Hoshimachi Suisei. And obviously there were emotions rife between her. But for Chris Salman, he's going to at least try to give her an even better result here in Tsukuba, despite him finishing very mediocre in the last race at Fuji. Yuan for Natsuri Matsuri is going to try to extend his way, get himself into the studio spots. He's currently out of it. Lorenzo Ricci currently second in the Split A standings. He's going to try to... Well, I don't think he's in second actually, apologies there, but he will try to limit the damage and at the very least stay inside the top 10 wherever he can. Richie Rod starts... Richie Rod is in 11th, but first we need to talk about Sean Paul inside that incoming car number 56. Continuing to show relentless pace in that number 56. Let's see where it goes from there for the incoming car and a driver. Richie Rod for Shirakawa Fubuki. He's got a lot of potential there. He was on course to get his first win last time out. Will it be this time around where he will get his first win? Michael Turner 12th for Shirogane Noel. Well, he's had a lap 1 accident at Fuji. Well, let's hope that he's able to at least grab a top 10 or top 5 where he starts. Kamen River, one of the reigning race winners in Formula Hololive Japan. He won the Split A race last time out at Fuji. Will he try to at least get a top 5 from his position? We'll have to wait and see. Tyler Williams starts 14th for Amane Kanata after a strong showing in the Split A race. Let's see where it goes from there from the British driver. Cal Gibbons, 15th, winner of the Split A Championship in Formula Hololive Japan, starts 15th for Roboco. Roger Kaczynski, 16th for Yusuke Choko, and Alex Grand, the only driver who has set a lap, 1 second of a lap slower than the pole sitter, he will start 17th for Yukihana Lamy. And so anyways, let's go into a bit of a intermission before we start this race. Hoshizuna Rio obviously showing a lot of pace inside Tsukuba right now. Of course, he is making his debut for Adak-RMS, and you can see here all 17 cars are lined up. We may wonder if pressure is going to build on this young man right there. He's gonna try to bring the Adak-RMS their first Formula Hololive win. Adak-RMS her first Formula Hololive win. The emotions are going to be very, very high, and it's going to be a very tense race coming into the Split A race. Anyways, we're about to get this race underway with Hoshizuna Ryo currently sitting inside the pole position spot. Alongside him is Ryu in the number 96 car. Engines revving, and the Tsukuba Super Pre for Split A finally gets underway. The start looks to be pretty okay there for Hoshizuna Ryo, and you can see here a lot of jostling there for position. Looks like Hoshizuna Ryo manages to extend his place up in the lead. Ryu now gets himself closer. He dive bombs Hoshizuna Ryo on the inside. And it's going to be a tense battle for the lead. Hoshizuna Ryo tries to defend against Ryu, who has already had experience in the Formula Hololive car. Hoshizuna Ryo, this is the first time he's inside this car on full-on race situation here. He's about to be beaten by Ryu, and that he is being beaten by Ryu at the start. More drivers trading blows between each other. Rustin Kurashio against Altsa and Tanarao. Trying to hang around the outside, Altsa and Tanarao. It's not going to come to anything, but the Sentinel is going to try again on the inside of turn 1. More driver shuffles coming onto the field here as Ryu leads lap 2 alongside Hoshizuna Ryo second, Mendes third, Damashita fourth, and Tanara fifth. Kurashio still battling each other. It looks like Kurashio is in fifth, Tanara is in sixth, but it's not going to be for long. Salaman 7th, Senful 8th, Richie 9th, and Sean Pauli inside the top 10. It's going to be it's a very, very, very tense race right now. As you can see here, really showing the rookie the door. Talk about a good welcome gift for the young driver. Oh, and apologies there for the slight lag. Just wanted to check what's going on. Yeah, apologies for the slight lag there. The internet just kind of failed. So, just want to recap to you all. It was a very electrifying first lap between Ryu and Hoshizuna Ryo. Ryu obviously going down on the besides Ryo, especially coming into the middle sector there. Actually, by the end of the first sector, I believe it was turn 5 it was called. And Ryu managed to take his chances superbly against the rookie. Ryu now stands the fastest lap of the race, 44.582. Meanwhile, we might be seeing a train forming at the back of the Vladislav Damashnev. Looking at Damashnev right now, he has not been able to catch up to Fabio Mendes and Hoshizuna Ryo. This qualifying pace does not match the race pace, and that race pace is actually slower than the qualifying pace that he has done. And right now, the drivers at the back are eager on trying to overtake Damashnev here. While we are currently on lap 4, let's take a look into the racial monitor. Some interesting strategies to unfold as a lot of drivers are going to be pitting in the next 2 laps, it seems, for most of the drivers, with the exception of Vladislav Damashnev, who will not be pitting until the next 86 laps. Hoshizuna Ryo is going to try to trade blows between himself and the experienced Ryu once again. Ryo trying to find some space and an overtaking opportunity against Ryu, but for now the pit stop battles are going to be coming in very thick and fast pretty soon, and these drivers will be pitting will have to pit again in the next time out from what we're seeing. And with the drivers all coming into the pits, we also talked about how this track is very heavy on traffic. This means that there will be a huge risk for lap cars to intervene here in Tsukuba, and if you are leading this race, you gotta need to find a way to overtake these lap cars, because there's no blue flag rules in the Assetto Corsa, and this will give them trouble. Meanwhile, Danarao and Kurashio, it looks like they might have traded both, but it looks like we have the first pit stop activity here. First drivers to come into the pits: Special Salman, Michael Turner, Kamner Riba, and Rostim Kurashio. Really already coming into turn 11. Lap cars will be a serious point of contention. We're going to be taking a look into the fuel limits for Racing Karashi. Will be pinning the next 6 laps. Same goes for Michael Turner, Kamina Riba, and Crystal Salmon, it seems. More pit lane activity is, more pit lane activity to come for these drivers. Most of these drivers will be pitting, with the exception of possibly Vlad Mashev. So the Mashev might be a bit slower, but it's also, that's only because he has basically almost his entire car filled with a tank of fuel, while most of these drivers are basically just fueled very minimally, and of course they'll have to pit multiple times in this race. Cal Gibbons, the next driver inside the pits, and it's going to take a slightly longer time to come into the pits. He will probably be beaten by Kamina Riba as well here. Kamina Riba saw Gibbons exiting. Gibbons is going to try to hang it around the inside of turn 1, 2, 3, and I think this is called turn 4, but I might be wrong. But meanwhile, Riba and Gibbons side by side between the most recent Formula Hall Japan race winner in a points-paying race, and also the most recent Formula Hall Japan Split 8 champion. Both drivers having a good sense of skill, but this time it's going to be Kamina Riba winning this battle. Lorenzo Ricci now comes into the pits. Meanwhile, there's a bit of battle between Richie Rott and Sean Paul. The battle between two experienced drivers in the aero, two British drivers representing two of the most experienced and popular Hololive members currently in the field right now. Richie Rott representing Shirakami Fubuki, and Sean Pauli representing Inugami Korone. Ryu now, of course, comes into the pits. This is where his car is right now. He's going to need to take a look into where Racing Karashi is right now. Meanwhile, Hoshizuna Ryo is going to be continuing on leading this race until the end of this lap, where I'll have to concede his position. It'll be the same thing for Fabio Mendes here, as you can see here. He'll also be pitting at the end of this lap. This will mean that Vlaza Damasha will be temporarily inheriting this race lead. Of course, he might be the only one to have trying to go long in this pit stop cycle. Hopefully, he is able to maintain his place in the race lead. Now, Vlaza Damasha, he has yet to win a Formula Hololive Japan race. He has won a good amount of Hololive GT3 races. He, I believe, has 3 on record so far for Aki Rosenthal. But now with Hoshizuna Ryo pitting, as well as Fabio Mendes, we have Vlaza Damashev currently inside the lead of this race, leading the pack for Aki Rosenthal. Meanwhile, looking at where Crystal Salman is right now, Salman is at the back straight, coming into the final corner at turn 12. Here's Vlasa Damashnev trying to fend off Johan Sinful and Richie Rod. Ryu and Hoshizuna Ryo battling side by side, and after coming out of the pits, you can see here Ryu actually beats Ryo in the first pit stop. Will it be the same in the second pit stop? We'll have to wait and see. Right now, as it stands, Ryu might be the one to challenge Damashev for the race lead. As you see here, Sinful and Rod Williams Kaczynski come into the pits as well, and Alex Grant too. But also forgetting the fact, I also forgot the fact that while Fabio Mendes out of all of this manages to beat both of them now, so Fabio Mendes is not a driver to try to get himself closer to Damashev. Obviously, the gap between the drivers who have already pitted to Damashev is at least 10 seconds, so Fabio Mendes currently probably has a mountain to climb. Not exactly a mountain to climb, but it's probably just a hill to climb, because you can see here more drivers coming into the pits. Will it be for longer distances? And the answer is going to be no. Everyone is basically still going to take short bursts inside the pit lane. And obviously, Vlasa Damasha already crossing the line. He will be hit by lap cars as early as lap 12 in this race, which is not really coming into 1/10, which is only like a tenth of a distance here. Salman takes a pretty long time in that pit. He's going to be overtaken, at least lap, by Fabio Mendes, Ryu, and Hoshizuna Ryo. So we're going to be seeing a battle of both ends. We're going to be seeing a battle inside the race lead and a battle for the lap car supremacy. You can see Fabio Mendes currently in second place, now stuck behind what looks to be it's gonna be hard to tell on who that is, but I believe that is Johan Senful, currently in 16th place for Natsuhiro Matsuri. Meanwhile, we'll have lap car, or rather Liu, actually trying to battle Fabio Mendes for position. The Koyo battle persists with Sakamata Chloe now emerging as a victor for now. And look at Vlasa Tomashev here. He has a lot of open space in front. So right now, this is basically helping Tomashev to a serious amount. And the only drivers who are currently ahead of him are Tyler Williams and Alex Brand. Kyle Gibbons comes into the pits. We're going to see even more shuffles inside this race. And you can see here Callum Gibbons is still going to be having a short time in this stint right now. He'll be pitting once again. Anyways, if there's one thing we learned about racing here in the Aero is that nothing is certain, because this type of racing is basically very, very unorthodox. Obviously, we're representing Hololive members in various idle uniforms, and this one we're representing Hololive members in bright uniforms. And the strategies and the racing involved can get wacky multiple times over. And as you can see here, Tomashev now only has an 8-second gap between himself and Liu. Meanwhile, we have Hoshizuna Ria and Fabio Mendes trading blows between each other. Fabio Mendes is falling down by the order. As you can see, he was overtaken by Liu the previous 2 laps. He's now overtaken by Hoshizuna Ria in this lap. Fabio Mendes trying to claw his place back, but as you can see here, he lost a fair amount of time, especially against Liu, and he's looking at Liu there. Despite being stuck behind traffic, Vlasa Tomashev and having some good amount of free air, you can see here the tire wear really starts to kick in there only after 15 laps. Well, compared to other 4-kilometer tracks, this is only like after 7 laps. But I can see here the tire wear in Tsukuba really shows. I mean, I don't remember the last time Tsukuba had a resurface, but for now, you can see here, Tomashev is trying to find a way to nurse his tires. You can see his front rights being absolutely battered. The front lights have been showing a lot, but you see this is where the right sides show a lot of wear on these left-hander corners too, and also this fast left-hander too. This is where the left-handers can right side tires can get a good amount of beating. Tanara and Ricci pitting between each other, and for Tanara and Ricci, they will have to pit once again. So expect a lot of pit stops for all drivers except Vlasa Tomashev. Although he is controlling this race by quite the margin, he is still trying to, at the very least, to get himself at least have a pretty good time up front. With aging tires and all that, but he knows that in Tsukuba, overtaking is pretty much difficult, and so he's going to be trying his best to at least go for track position, tires and fuel and pace be damned. Liu and Sean Pauli trading between each other, and now Liu gets himself ahead of Sean Pauli by the pit stop, but that's mostly because Liu is already ahead of Sean Pauli. Chris Salmon comes to pit once again, but this time for Crystal Salmon, it's going to be another very short pit stop. This is a very weird race right now. Well, I have to lie. I'm not going to lie. And looking at this one, Hashizuna Rio is already unleashed there for fastest lap for him right now, 44.34 for the young Japanese driver. He now has his eyes set on the current race leader, Vlasa Tomashev, who is only going to be pitting once in this race. Well, let's see if he can get himself closer, but before he has to inevitably pit again. We might be seeing drivers not going for pit stop by around lap 30 or lap 40. So, yeah, expect a lot of pit stop calamity, or at a pit stop chaos right here. As you can see, Hoshizuna Ria finally comes into the pits, as well as his rival Fabio Mendes. Here we are, Kamina Riba now down in 15th place, Rossin Caraccio in 14th. Due to the chaotic nature of this race, with lots of pit stops now involved, Let's take a look into the progress charts to see where the drivers currently are and how many drivers have gained a lot of positions here. Alex Grant is due to pit again soon, but looking at him right now, Alex Grant, he's going to be pitting in the next 3 laps, and you can see here Grant has gained 9 positions there from the start. He started last and is now in 8th place. So hats off to Grant and the Yukimin for making this very, very funny comeback here. We have basically 11 drivers, or rather 9 drivers currently on the lead lap as it stands right now. Which also makes this thing a bit crazier, but then you realize that Tsukuba is only a 2-kilometer racetrack, easily the shortest in any of the aero competitions that we have so far. It's the shortest circuit in any of the aero racing calendars. Beats Suzuka by quite the margin. This is the longest aero track that we'll be racing that's currently active on the schedule. We have raced in Spa before, but that is not going to be in consideration for the current schedule as of late. And now with Fabio Mendes, Liu, and Hoshizuna Ryo pitting, we are now looking at actually a 24-second gap between Mendes and Damashnev. More drivers coming to pit, Richie Roy, Johansson for Raja Kaczynski, and Tyler Williams for these 2 drivers. Personal best for Mendes and Leo. Rio is still faster than Fabio Mendes, but this is still slightly slower than Liu though, despite all this. So anyways, as far as the championship context goes, like taking a look into Vasa Damasha, this will do himself absolute wonders here. He'll almost be set to qualify for the CEO Cup if he's able to win this race, the Tsukuba Super Pre Split A race. Again, apologies for having to delay this race by a week due to the host having issues. Well, we'll get on to the racing here despite clashing with other motorsports racing. Of course, we know other racing events currently taking place in ELMS and Formula E, but we're just going to push on with what we have at the moment. And you can see here, Mendes, despite having pitted twice already, he's already clawing a lot of time because Vasa Damasha have more drivers coming into pit here on lap 22. Richard Martyr still says that these drivers are actually looking at Richie Ra, Johansson, for Caminari, but they will be making their last pit stops this time by, also for Michael Turner as well. So this will be the window where the drivers will make their final pit stops. With the exception of Vlasa Damashev, they will be set for the rest of this race. Again, the fast lap of Shizuno Rio, 44.312 for the young Japanese driver, the part of the Nakirigumi. Obviously excited to represent Nakiri Ayame, despite the 18 team currently down in the dumps as far as the points are concerned. Currently dead last in the Split A standings. This win will at the very least help elevate the 18 team to at least the top 10 in the CEO Cup as it stands, but nothing is to be certain. Michael Turner is also inside the pits once again, it seems, and now he's back onto the track. I don't think he's involved in any accidents here, but it should be good for the remainder of this race here. Drivers who have yet to pit is Crystal Salaman, Kyle Gibbons, which is on a Rio, and Tanner Rao, Sean Pauly, Tyler Williams, Rossin Caraccio, Fabio Mendes, and Liu. They will be shutting up shop as far as the pit stops go. They will have the advantage at this stage of this race before the Damashev comes into pit. But the Damashev is going to have to play the track position game early on for him to at the very least hang on to as long as he can inside the race lead. And for Damashev, he has 68 laps in his current stint left for him to manage. More drivers in the pits right now. We have Liu coming in. We also have Antana Rao and Richie currently stationary inside their box. They're still stationary right now. But meanwhile, as we take a look into some of the potential battles coming in between, it looks to be Gibbons and Williams. But right now, we're looking in Liu, and now we can see here Antara or rather Richie coming to the pits. Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty long pit stop for Liu here. Hoshizuna Ryu and Fabio Mendes are about to lap the young Malaysian. More drivers coming to the pits. That looks like Callum Gibbons. Hoshizuna Ryu and Fabio Mendes now currently lapping Liu. Liu is being held up a lot inside the pit lane here. That's not going to do the young Malaysian any favors there. Liu, who had been controlling much of this race, is currently still being stuck into the pits. Why is it taking so long for Liu to get his car back out on track? And finally he does. But that's going to be a very, very slow pit stop for Liu. Obviously there has been some error in one of the mechanics that basically was in charge of changing the tires or basically refueling his fuel. So Liu is currently mired back in 7th place, currently behind Crystal Soundman, who have yet to pit. Rustin Karashi have yet to pit. Tyler Williams has yet to pit, but he has lost a good amount of time to Fabio Mendes and Hoshizuna Ryu. Gibbons also taking a good amount of time in that pit stall right there. Meanwhile, Vlasa Tomashev still hanging in it around inside the race lead here. You can see here there's not much tire wear in the left side, and in the right side there is also a good amount of wear as well. The right side's showcasing a lot of tire wear, and that's not going to help him on the left-hand side corners especially. Kusama and Rustin Karasha come in for their final pit stops. Hoshizuna Ryu and Fabio Mendes coming into the pits. Liu has a mountain to climb. He has to lap this, make a 1.5 laps to basically have a chance on beating Hoshizuna Ryu and Fabio Mendes. And right now they're still stuck inside the pits. Tyler Williams, of course, is still stuck behind. Still stuck in 4th place right now. He's not going to be overtaken by Antara. Antara has now put him a lap down as it stands. But Tyler Williams is going to cause Antara a bit of problems. Antara is going to try to hang around the outside of the final corner. Tyler Williams is going to stay on the inside. And Antara gets beat by Tyler Williams. Liu currently needs to do just under a lap to go before he is able to overtake either Fabio Mendes or Hoshizuna Ryu. Liu coming into turn 11 and now coming into the main straight, or rather the back straight, coming into the final corner. Mendes finally gets out, beat Hoshizuna Ryu, who gets out only a few seconds slower than Liu. Looks like Fabio Mendes is gonna be the contender that might just be able to beat Vlasa Tomashev right across the line. But remember, these will be their drivers' final pit stops for fuel, maybe not for tires. But for Vlasa Tomashev, who is yet to pit this entire race, who has been in the lead for much of the entire race already, he will be pitting in the next 50 laps and will have a monstrous 40-lap charge to the finish. Right now we are about to cross into the quarter stage of the Tsukuba Super Pre Split A race. Tomashev has basically lapped the entire field. Obviously, Tomashev has to pit again, and Tyler Williams has to basically pit again. So right now it's going to be the case of, just wanted to check on the gaps to the leaders. He actually has 2 laps over Fabio Mendes and Hoshizuna Ryu and Liu. That just shows you what kind of strategy Tomashev currently has at the moment. Just a weird moment to note here. And now Tomashev is going to try to clear the lap car of Johan Sinful to put him, what looks to be 3 laps down. Riba, Gibbons, Turner, Crossia, and Salman, I believe, are currently on lap 29. He's also going to be clearing Rajik Kaczynski very easily. He looks like he's having his race on easy mode. He just shows a huge amount of control in the Acura stall number 19 in that Toyota N-powered car. So much faith and so much control on this race. Leading this race after Ryu and Hoshizono Rio pitted. At least I believe it's on lap 4, 5, 6. And he hasn't been looking back ever since. Right now he's showing himself a good amount of pace here. Now you can see here Tyler is finally having to concede his position as he now comes in on what should be his final pit stop of the night. And now we have the confirmation here. Fabio Mendes 2 laps down to Vladislav Domashnev here, which should mean he's now 80 seconds behind Vladislav Domashnev at the very least, or I believe 90 seconds in this regard. We all might be able to take into the scrap for second place here. Hoshizono Rio and Fabio Mendes, basically, they cannot be separated much. We will have Johan Sinful trying to battle it out against Rajik Kaczynski for 11th place right there, but Kaczynski manages to defend. More battles at the front, rather in the mid pack as Alex Gwen, after all these pit stops, have basically made a comeback from the back to the midfield, and now at the precipice of trying to get past Vladislav Domashnev, but right now nothing comes of it for now, with Alex Gwen trying to defend against Richie Raw in 10th place. Rajczynski currently holding on 11th place, but there might be a battle brewing between Fabio Mendes and Rio. Rio's gonna go down the inside of Mendes. Mendes is gonna try to hang around the outside. Mendes is gonna try to defend around the outside coming into turn 1. Rio's gonna try to fight back. Rio has the advantage exiting turn 1, and it's the Nakiri Ayame driver up in second place. No chance, maybe, but you can see here Fabio Mendes really trying to sneak past the number 18 car, but right now nothing comes of it. Great defending from Rio in his first race, no less. He's gonna give the Nakiri Gumi something to remember in this 2024 racing season. Now, Nakiri Ayame not committing much to the original uniform in recent times. The Nakiri Ayame Lexus in Hololive GT3 has struggled as a result, and Fabio Mendes, or rather the Nakiri Ayame drivers, previously it was Jeff Clark, had failed to get the Nakiri Ayame car inside the Suyo series. Meanwhile, we have Ryu now trying to challenge Fabio Mendes on who has the better Koyo close supremacy, and right now it's going to be a 3-way battle for second place, but as for the battle for third, it's now over with the Koyori car currently ahead. There was a good try from the Sakamata Chloe driver of Ryu. But in terms of this Koyo Club battle, it's going to be Koyori who wins. It's more side-by-side battle that looks at me. It's between Rajik Kaczynski and Richie Rod there. Richie Rod's lost a good amount of time there. And the Yuzuki Choco driver is going to try to find a way past inside. And you can see here, he knows he's faster than Rod there, and he's trying his best to get himself close. And also talk about a reversal of fortune. The two drivers involved in that lap 1 incident in the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split A race, Michael Turner and Rajik Kaczynski. Now you can see both of them are currently in a swap position there. Rajik Kaczynski was currently battling in the scrap for the final points positions, and Michael Turner getting himself inside the top 10, or rather getting himself in contention for the top 10. Now we're seeing a swapping of positions here. Now we have Ryu going side by side with Rio. The Sakamata Chloe driver now battling the Nakiri Ayame driver for the race lead here. Looking at the radar here, Ryu is slightly ahead, but Rio is steadfast onto the challenge here, as Fabio Mendes there, as we mentioned here, also got himself up into second, still stays in second place. And now you can see here, the battle for second place continues with Rio and Leo trying to find space for each other, against each other. and trying to find a way past Fabio Mendes here. Balazar Domashnev having a pretty lonely race here at the moment. He's currently only stuck behind, looking like that's not Alex Grant. He's currently stuck behind the car that is Tyler Williams. That's representing Amanikanta. 45.652 for Domashnev. Martinez is about to cross the line. 47.034. Both of these drivers are slower than Balazar Domashnev. This is what Balazar Domashnev wants to see. We can see here Fabio Mendes now trying to clear the lap car of Johan Sinful, but right now nothing is coming for the drivers inside the battle for the top two spots. Battle for second. You know, there's a very interesting battle here between Grant, Rod, Kaczynski, Sinful. Riba is back in 13th place, but that's not gonna be a battle we might want to pay attention to, because there might be a side-by-side battle coming. But right now, there is nothing to note for now. Really trying to find a way past Fabio Mendes, but Fabio Mendes has been overtaken by Jose Donoria, as you can see here by the what's in front of Liu. And now you can see both of them trying to trade blows once again. It's basically a back and forth situation between the Koyori, Chloe, and IMA drivers. And one of them is only a rookie. This is some serious racing action that we're seeing here, and we're all enjoying it for the sake of it, because it's some very clean, awesome racing action. Nothing separating much between these high professional drivers here racing these high-spec Formula Hololive cars, who basically take inspiration from the bright idol uniforms that have seen their debut since 2023. And you can see here, so she's on her is going to go at it once again down the inside. Rio is now in the second place. Behind the fence, we might be seeing Rio trying to battle it out once again for third place this time. The Chloe battle is going to go the way of Chloe. And with all of that being said, Lorenzo Ricci is able to find his way inside this battle for second place here. Now we're seeing that this battle for second place, which now stretches down to fifth place, has now been extended to fifth place, and they're only separated by about 2 to 3 seconds. You can't ask for a better racing product than this in Formula Hololive Japan. End-to-end action, close racing side by side from time to time. Well, this time we're going to be seeing it in a more consistent basis here, and we're all for it. Lorenzo Ricci still trying to find a way past Fabio Mendes here, who is currently still chilling inside fourth place. Now we might be hearing some questions about emissive textures on these on the exterior of the cars. Why aren't you turning it on? It's because that these textures may be a bit intrusive, and it's not really a finished product. These emissive textures basically light up at night and on dark environments. This is to better reflect the bright uniforms who glow bright in low lighting conditions. But of course there are some issues that may need to find solutions to, but for now we're just going to be sticking with what we have at the moment. 1/3 of this race is about to get passed. 1/3 of this race is about to be passed there with already, I believe we're not even at 100 kilometers if I'm not mistaken, but still we're going to pass on as usual. Austin Crasho currently in the 16th place. He's had a pretty good start to the season, but right now he's currently outside the points paying positions in the Fuji race, and also this one in the Capture the Women Grand Prix Split C race. He was turned into a spin at turn 1, a Ponkotsu moment, if you will, possibly mirroring Laplace Darkness's fall from where she was running on the stage with Nakari Ayame watching. Laplace Darkness fell on the stage in the stage 3 concert, Classic Garage spun a few hours before on the Split C race. And how events in Hololive concerts can sometimes reflect on the racetrack as well. Hoshizona Rio currently still in second place, still trying to find a way past Johan Sinful, who is currently in a battle of its own against Raja Ichiban and Alex Gran. And obviously, as we mentioned here, Vlasa Domashev is enjoying this and relishing the fact that his rivals are battling against each other. And right now, he's happy to extend the gap as it is right now, 46.283 for Domashev. And for everyone else, it might be a bit slower by from a few tenths to a full second. And in this short track, that is a lot. 46.729, 46.556, 46.595. Domashev is going to take it regardless, because that is basically still a time where Domashev is able to close the gap, or rather extend the gap, to the driver inside the top two spots. Oh, went a bit wide there, Rio. But still managing to get himself controlled in the Adak-RMS number 18. Oh, still trying to find some space against the likes of Johan Sinful, but now he's going to be under pressure from Rio. Rio's going to dive down the inside, it seems, and it's going to be the case until Rio closes down the inside line before anything of substance comes. And as we mentioned before, Domashev has done an absolute wonder to only go for that one pit stop right in the second half, right around the middle of the second half of the race, with everyone else pitting very, very early to try to find a sweet window for them to not pit again from lap 30, lap 40. Sound of these inline fours in these Formula Hololive Japan cars never failed to entertain all of us, and especially with the countless amounts of nice racing that we've had at the moment. Side by sides, dive bombs down the inside, all of them are currently clean at the moment. You can't ask for a better racing product than this. We've said this once before in the stream. We're gonna say it again because that's just how good the racing product can be in this series. Speaking of which, Sean Pauli having a very lonely race up in 7th place for Inagami Korone. He's had a solid run in the Split A race from our recollection. Now, Sean Pauli basically had been chilling with some of the other ARO drivers who were willing to spend some time with Pauli. Like after the Split A race, it was there were basically talks about Holly and Richie playing games together, and also getting a bit of a nuisance from some of the other drivers in that same weekend, but those are just rumors. Anyways, Vlasa Domashev is about to cross the line. We're going to be checking on what his lap time is going to be in a few moments. Meanwhile, for Rio and Rio going side by side there, you can see here Rio is going to try to clear the lap car of Sinful, and he finally catches what's soon to be lap car, at least for Rio, and at almost the right time here. Still hanging around the outside. You can see here on the exit of that final corner there, it tightens up, so Rio has to basically take it easy there. And now coming into turn 1, there's not much of a space there. He left the door open for Rio. Rio's gonna try to challenge Rio for basically second place here, too wide for these drivers. And now you can see Rio still hang around side by side with Rio, and managing to defend Hoshizona Rio. Tries to find some space there. Hoshizona Rio against Johan Sinful. I think that's a pretty good exit there for Rio against Sinful. Fabio Mendes might have a good exit against Rio. And Lorenzo Ricci's waiting in the wings. And at the same time, we also have Alston turnaround now inside the hunt for the top 2 positions. And as we are saying this as well, we are also taking a look into, I believe that is Callum Gibbons, right in the thick of things, still stuck in 14th place. Crystal Salman down in 17th. That's not going to look good for the driver representing ASCII. He has had a pretty okay race in Sepang. Finished in outside the top 10 in Fuji. And he's not going to be set to score any points if he stays where he is right now. Crystal Salman, who have already received a win in Formula Hololive, courtesy of a very good tussle between himself and Daniel Barger at Suzuka in the Suzuka Grand Prix. Obviously, that win has now felt like a long time ago for Salman, who has not had a pretty amazing start of the season, despite ASCII also preferring the bright uniform over the original uniform, despite her original uniform being unprecedented in more ways than one. Salman has not been able to perform in Formula Hololive up to this point. He's currently mired back in last place after all this. You know, it's a bit of an irony here, with a lot of these Hololive members prioritizing the bright uniforms. Inevitably, the competition is gonna be very, very tight. And for Salman, who also sees his representing talent, also prioritizing the bright uniform when everyone else does the same thing, it's going to be a difficult task for Salman to stand out from the rest. And he's not even standing out from the rest in a good way. He's currently in last place, around 1.9 seconds behind Rustin Carrascio. And also, let's take a look at Rustin Carrascio. They both, I believe, have very slow pit stops, which basically costed them a lot of time and a lot of positions. As Rustin Carrascio, I believe, was battling inside the top 5, and now he's relegated in that 16th place, just one position outside the points, but he's getting closer to Michael Turner. More interesting battles to come here in Tsukuba Circuit. Here we're now on lap 54 of 123 here in Tsukuba Circuit. Well, nice to see that people are also tuning into the stream. Welcome everyone to the Tsukuba Super Race Split A race. We hope everyone here has been enjoying the very nice racing action that we're seeing so far. As you see here, faster than Mazda 45.381. I believe that's faster than the other drivers inside the top 4 positions. Hoshizano Rio, Liu, and Fabio Mendes representing Ayame, Chloe, and Koyori respectively. One of the long-standing Rosenthal member in aero competitions, Vlasta Domashnev, has already seen a lot of wins for Aki Rosenthal in Hololive GT3. I believe he has at least 2, from what I could attest. Apologies here. I think it's 3. 1 in 2022, 1 in 2023, and 2 in 2022, 1 in 2023. He has yet to win a Formula Hololive race for Aki Rosenthal. He has won 3 in Hololive GT3. His last one, of course, came in Tsukuba. So you can say that Tsukuba has been a perfect battleground for him, and basically just a nice playground for him to play at. I mean, he's probably just chilling back at this point, just sipping a few apple juices, knowing that he basically has control over this track. Lap 57 with Lodomashev already crossing the line. This is where Hoshizano Rio is in second place. He is about 2 1/3 of a lap behind Domashnev. They are currently, I believe, on lap 54 for what we're seeing here. Right now we might be seeing more battles. Side by side, I believe, goes Richie Rod and Raija Kaczynski. Kaczynski's gonna go down the inside of Rod coming into turn 1. Kaczynski is hanging around. Rod is ready to attack, ready to fire at the high camera corner here. And you can see here Kaczynski gets beaten by Richie Rod, who's now inside the top 10. We're about to get into the halfway stage here in Tsukuba Circuit. And you can see here he got pushed there. He has to leave room for, I believe, that is Johan Sinful. Or rather, that is actually Hoshizono Rio, who's gonna try to clear. And has cleared, he has cleared Raja Kaczynski, but now it's gonna be Ryu's turn. Ooh, that's great racing action between these two drivers. Obviously, both of them are not in the same lap. And as you can see here, Ryu tries to find space against Kaczynski. Ryu on the outside now comes into the inside of Kaczynski, coming into turn 11. And if he can ace his acceleration here and find a way past Hoshizono Rio, who is opened up too much space there against Ryu. Ryu is gonna try to try his luck at the final quarter to overtake Hoshizono Rio for the second place spot. And you can see here, despite the valiant effort from Rio, the rookie, Ryu now gets himself into second place. 2 more lap cars to clear for these two drivers, or rather these drivers currently battling inside the top 2. Fabio Mendes, I believe, is now separated from the rest of the drivers inside the battle for second, as Hoshizono Rio has cleared multiple drivers who have been a lap down. Raja Kaczynski and Johan Sinful separating Fabio Mendes and Ryu at the moment. More battles here between Kamine Riba and Lorenzo Ricci, 2 of the more recent Formula Hololive Japan winners, but the recent winner has to give way to the first winner of 2024. Lap 60 is starting, or has already started there, and has concluded with Damashev already starting lap 61. 60 laps has been completed here in the Tsukuba Super Pre Split A race. With Hoshizono Rio trying to find a way past Ryu. Going back to the race field monitor here, Vladislav Damashev only has 32 laps of fuel that he needs to deal with, and he's got pretty battered tires when all of it is said and done. If you look at Damashev's tires, his front right is absolutely battered. His rear right is showing huge amounts of wear. And as you can see here on his rear left too, that shows a lot of wear as well. He's showing a lot of wear on all of his tires except the front left. And you can see here, he's still hanging around against Tyler Williams. But with Tyler Williams basically matching Damashev's pace, he doesn't need to think about overtaking him way too much, because he knows that he doesn't have much of a pace to pull away from Williams, who is currently in 8th place. There will be massive implications in the championship battle, and in the championship site here, Damashev will extend his lead with a very, very comfortable degree, with his current lead of over, I believe, 100 seconds, already leading Ryu by over 2 laps. But Ryu will at least point himself back into the CEO Cup positions, as well as Hoshizono Rio, who will basically open up the points tally for Adak-RMS in race 3 of the Formula Hololive Japan qualifiers. Better late than never, but yeah. Fabio Mendes is also outside of the CEO Cup spots, so a 4th place finish at the very least will help things for all of the assistants watching, and Koyori as well. Lorenzo Ricci, who have won the Sepang Grand Prix last February, is going to be aiming to find a way past Fabio Mendes, at least for him to not lose a lot more points than he should. And also we have Antara 6th place. It may not be 4th, but at the very least, with him scoring consistent finishes inside the top 10, he will be very, very proud of that. The halfway stage has already passed here. 125 kilometers of racing have already elapsed here in Tsukuba Circuit. And we now can see Rustin Caraccio and Michael Turner going side by side and coming into the final corner here to battle for the final points position. Rustin Caraccio on the inside and managing to clear Michael Turner, but will Michael Turner fight back? He's gonna dive down the inside. Michael Turner side by side going these two drivers. Side by side goes these two drivers for the scrap for the final points position. Crystal Salmon also waiting in the wings for him to also score points at the very least to limit the damage done. And also looking into some of the other draft battles that might be developing. Hoshizono Ryu and Lorenzo Ricci only about under a second behind their respective rivals up front. And the battle for the final point position is also gearing up as well. Also, we have Gibbons and Riba separated by Alton Tara, who's currently in 6th place. So there's a train forming with drivers in multiple laps. Now trying to find a way past each other. Now, for all of you watching, I would like to hear your thoughts in the chat room to let us know of your thoughts of this race so far. Who are your favorites to win the Tsukuba Super Prix? We'll absolutely love it if you share it in the chat down below. Feel free to share your opinions. And just wanted to get a bit of a highlight there to Alex Rent. Just wanted to show with you the progress started at the back, now currently in 9th place, the biggest gainer in this race so far. He deserves a pat on the back at the very least, given his current situation here at the moment. Also, one of the bigger losers, of course, is Crystal Salmon, who started from 7th, and Rustin Caraccio, who started from 5th place. So, the pit stops may be a bit wonky and a bit incorrect, and all that stuff. It took them a bit too much time there. And also, you can see here the gaps between Hoshizono Ryu and Ryu Tavashi 2 laps behind the race leader. Everyone else is basically separated by about 1 lap at most. It just shows you how well Damashev is currently acing his strategy. Hoshizono Ryu currently in 3rd place here, trying to get himself back against Ryu. Now Ryu actually, I believe, is currently side by side, or at least attempts a side by side with Richie Rod, but he might be held up right at the end here, and that's going to open the door for Hoshizono Ryu to have a very good exit there. Maybe he might go down the inside of Ryu coming into turn 1. That is going to be the answer. That's going to be the case. Ryu's going to hang around the inside of turn 1. But it's gonna be a kerfuffle between the two into this low camber left-hander, heavily cambered left-hander corner. And now Hoshizono Ryu is gonna try to retake 2nd place away from Ryu. And Hoshizono Ryu is gonna try to fight back after Ryu manages to get himself back. But right now the side-by-side battles continue. Ryu against Ryu. Ryu still hanging around the inside, tries to give each other room. Ryu gives Ryu room, and so vice versa. Coming into turn 1, once again, starting lap 67 for them. Lap 69 has already ended for Vlasta Damashev. Nice 69 laps completed, also nice. Again, side by side between the two, Hoshizono Ryu and Ryu, both of them really hard to separate between each other. And they're still inseparable, but finally this time Ryu shows his skills and experience on racing and on the race pace, and Ryu gets up in 2nd place. Lots of drivers in multiple laps. Damashev is just built a bit different here with Damashnev currently still controlling this race. Tyler Williams has actually caught up to Crystal Salman, Michael Turner, Russell Carrascio, Sean Pauli, Callum Gibbons, Alison Tanner, Reba, Richie, Mendez, Sinful, Kaczynski, Rio, Richie Rod, and Alex Grant. That is a lot of cars. That's a lot of cars in basically a line. And obviously, it's all in a straight. It's all basically connected between each other too. So there's a lot of empty parts on the racetrack that basically doesn't have this line involved. So it's a very, very interesting sight to see. Alex Grant has a lot of open space in front of him, and right now, the driver who has started at the back is gonna at the very least try to salvage. Well, not exactly salvage something, but at the very least bring home a pretty good result given the circumstances in qualifying. Apologies for the slight background audio here. Sometimes streaming in a crowded environment can get a bit of a problem, but this is the only environment that we're able to host right now, so bear with us here. Vlasa Damashnev still in control of this race. Rio currently in second. Hoshizona Rio third. Mendes fourth. Richie fifth. Taro also in 6th place, and then Paulie 7, Williams 8, Grant 9th, and Rod running out top 10. Just looking at Damashnev there, he still has yet to pay. He may have been leading a good amount of laps so far, and is en route to lead the most laps out of anyone so far in the Tsukuba Super Race Split A race. But remember, he will be pitting, and he might pit for a very long time, and which might open the door for Liu, Rio, and Mendes to attack if they're able to make the pass on Damashnev. Right now, Liu still needs to clear 2 more cars if he wants to, at the very least, have some open air to, at the very least, close the gap onto Damashnev. Ooh, as you can see here, Rod trying to check Kaczynski. Kaczynski might have gotten close there by maybe they've not been close enough or whatever. But right now, with all of the driving situation basically calming down and everyone just sticking into single file, we haven't been seeing some very amazing racing so far, and right now it's a good time for us to catch our breath. Basically, with each of these drivers also trying to push the limits of their cars in this very tight and twisty circuit. Obviously, it's like Monaco, but Japan, so that's why you have not been seeing this many overtakes. But there's still a good amount of both. The fact that we're seeing this many overtakes regardless just shows you the racing product. But that's enough rambling about racing products. Let's just check around the current situation here. Lorenzo Ricci trying to catch Fabio Mendes there. The gap's now dropped down to 0.4 of a second between Ricci and Mendes. And then we have Rio now getting close there to Rio there. Thought of a move down the inside of, I believe it was turn 8 if I'm not mistaken. But now coming to the exit of turn 11 here, Rio's going to try to find a way past Rio once again. Rio needs to clear these 2 lap cars if he wants to have a chance of beating Vlasa Damashnev to a race win. And as you can see here, all the pack is about to go 3 laps down if they're not careful, because look at where Damashnev is right now. This is where Vlasa Damashnev is, on the tail end of this line. So if these drivers are not careful, then they might be seeing the entire pack get lapped by Damashnev by at the very least 3 times already, including the fact that he has to make his pit stop. Damashev is basically just trying to chill here at the moment, but you can see here Salman tries to find some way to get past Michael Turner, and with everyone basically set in terms of as far as pit stops are concerned, that will probably be it for much of this race. So we're just gonna basically chill for the rest of this race. Again, I would like to hear your opinions and thoughts of this race. Please share it in the chat room below. Ooh, and Damashev really trying to get wet. Excuse me, as Damashev tries to find a way past looks like Tyler Williams there, who is still there in 8th place. You know, it would be funny to see if a crash happens right at the front. Alex Grant basically collects the likes of Relio and that triggered a chain reaction and the master pilot, which absolutely changes the complexion of the race. That would be very, very funny. Well, you can see here, Alex Grant is leading the Pied Piper field. Last driver 2 laps down, and after Alex Grant is Richie Rod, who is currently 3 laps down on Vlasa Damashev. Richie Rod only has 75 laps complete. Vlasa Damashev already has 78 laps complete. Aurelio already has 76 laps complete. Everyone just basically chilling for wherever they are at the moment. Apologies if there's not much to talk about in the commentary. Of course, me being the only one in the commentary up to this point. But we're still here for the racing here. We're about to get into the 2/3 mark of this race. Probably at about 170 kilometers of racing done so far. We might be having to deal with 70 more. This is on a Rio. Will he take a move? No is the answer here, as Rio really is desperate to try to find something. And now you can see Yoshizuna Rio gets to be under pressure from Rajiv Kaczynski, who's going to unlap himself against Rio. Rio's going to try to not make that happen. But right now, Kaczynski really places his car superbly, but not before Clark dive bombs his fellow Gen 2 teammates. And obviously showing a lot of scrap between the two. Kaczynski slightly squeezes Rio, but Rio is unfazed. Rio manages to clear Kaczynski, and now his eyes are still set on trying to clear the other 2-3 cars up front. Of course, Rio has already made the pass on Richie Rod. If he can make the pass on Alex Grant and steal a lot of time away from Kaczynski, we've got one of these drivers will be coming out a winner, and that, I mean, really should have a better chance of actually beating Vlasa Damashev. While we're saying this, Rajiv Kaczynski tries to defend against Johansson, who tried to make the pass on Kaczynski, as Fabio Mendes is sniffing an opportunity for him to get himself back into the fight inside the top 3. And General looking to find a way past Kaminari Reba, the incumbent race winner in Formula Hololive Japan, at the very least in Split A, involving qualifiers and in the 5th Fest Grand Prix. And Tararo now is about to be under pressure from Callum Gibbons there. Callum Gibbons is going to be pushing Tararo away. Gibbons is going to try to find a way past. Meanwhile, there are more side-by-side battles. That looks to me Lorenzo Ricci and Kaminari Reba as well. Ricci pushes Reba off. It's going to be something of a rout here. No, it's not something of a rout, but there's going to be a battle slightly brewing a bit. Possibly between Reba and Gibbons if, let's say, these two drivers are not careful. Sean Pauli about to be under pressure from that looks like Rasim Caraccio, who's currently in the final points positions. Caraccio now down the inside. And that was a very good move there by Caraccio. to at the very least dispatch Sean Pauli, and now we have Michael Turner beating Sean Pauli as well. This is where the shuffling really starts here. This is the final third of this race, showcasing a lot of potential and a lot of racing action here. Alex Grant, of course, still leads this pack, but of course he's almost going to be a lap down to Ri Liu, and definitely a lot of laps, at least 2 laps behind Vladislav Domashnev. Vladislav Domashnev, 9 liters of field to go, 9 laps of field to go. He will be hitting at the very latest on lap 93. With lap 85 already starting, this might be the case for Domashnev. He might be spending a good amount of time inside the pits. He might lose a lap or 2, depending on the context and circumstances. He might still exit the pit lane as the driver who have basically lapped everyone at this point. And with fresher tires, no one might be able to challenge Vladislav Domashnev right at the end. And we can see here Lorenzo Ricci now tries to challenge himself against Fabio Mendes, a rider on the outside of the final corner here. He might just make the move stick, but Fabio's not going to take it lying down as we've seen before. And there's contact! That looks like Alton Tanaro got spun out by, I believe, Kaminari Riba, what we're seeing, or was that Rustin Coraggio? And now all hell breaks loose, as we mentioned here. One small contact on this tight pack, and there's gonna be pandemonium. Now Tyler Williams gets to overtake Sean Pauli, and now we can see here, and Tanaro is gonna try to defend against Tyler Williams, and Tanaro is gonna try to clear himself against these other lap cars. Fabio Mendes against Lorenzo Ricci once again. Fabio Mendes down the inside of Lorenzo Ricci. Lorenzo Ricci trying to still go side by side with Fabio Mendes, but this time Lorenzo Ricci manages to beat Fabio Mendes. You can see here Williams and Tanaro, I believe, battling out side by side, and Tyler Williams almost going wide there, trying to complete the pass, and now Tyler Williams is into 6th place. And Tanaro and Sean Paul are going to go into an Okakoro battle. This time the Okayu car on the outside, the Inugami car on the inside. And at the same time, we have Vladislav Domashnev trying to clear Callum Gibbons there. Or was that Crystal Salman? Crystal Salman's will continue, and it's going to be open for everyone to see. Rustin Coraggio now gets himself down into 14th place, going to rebound 13th. And Tanaro Pauli trade blows. So Hansen for Richie Rod also trade blows. It's an intergen battle between these drivers involved, and Tanaro Pauli, Sinful Rod, Riba, with the exception of Riba and Coraggio, of course. Fabio Mendes has tried to stay on the inside of Lorenzo Ricci, and now he's going to try it again to, at the very least, mount a challenge onto Ricci. Side by side still goes Mendes. Lorenzo Ricci is going to respond with another dive down the inside. And now Lorenzo Ricci managing to defend 4th place again from Fabio Mendes. Lorenzo Ricci now ahead of Fabio Mendes. And you can see here now Lorenzo Ricci managing to close down the gap, the opening on that inside line. And now here comes the decision moment for Vladislav Domashnev. He has about 3 liters of field to go, which is about 3 laps of field to go. And more battles coming in. Rio against, that looks like Tyler Williams there, or rather Richie Rod. He has been overtaken by Richie Rod, but he's on a Rio. Asad still had a promising debut up to this point, but he might not have a chance to at the very least compete for the race win with really under Damashnev's performances so far. Vlasa Damashnev not far at the back. He's already dispatched multiple drivers, Michael Turner and Crystal Salmon to name a few, as well as Tyler Williams, Alton Tannerow, and Sean Pauley. Just showing a lot of pace there despite having 90-lap old tires. But then again, he has a lighter car, so that might excuse him from anything else. And now you can see Damashnev trying to find a way past Callum Gibbons now. Two veteran drivers in the ARO who have seen history between each other. Now toe-to-toe between each other. And Vlasa Damashnev now gets himself ahead. Fabio Mendes and Lorenzo Ricci going side by side. You can see here Mendes and Ricci. And you can see here Fabio Mendes now has the fourth place back. And that's a pretty convincing move there down the inside of the final corner. But as we're saying this, Ricci and Riba side by side between each other. As we mentioned here, two known race winners toe-to-toe between each other. And now tries to find space against Fabio Mendes. But Mendes manages to block. Lap 92 has started. Vlasa Damashnev is running low on fuel, and he might be called into the pits at the end of this lap. Damashnev is going to go inside the pit lane as it stands here, appealing to the pits. This will be the deciding point on who leads the Tsukuba Super Free Split A race. With Vlasa Damashnev coming into the pits, it's now going to be at the hands of these three drivers inside the top four positions, excluding Damashnev, to try to find a lot of time and pace. But right now, we have Alex Grant that might deny all of this. Vlasa Damashnev might be able to thank Alex Grant on all the other lap cars for holding his rivals back. And this might be the road for Vlasa Damashnev to actually, he has a very short pit stop. And actually, looking at the fuel flow right now, he's at a very short pit stop. Doesn't need to spend too much time in the pit lane. And also, given that he has a fresh set of tires, he has basically cleared everyone in the dust. And now, his dominant race has now become even more dominant. Vlasa Damashnev now leads everyone by 2 laps on merit. His strategy masterclass is going to pay him absolutely handsomely. And right now, Vlasa Damashnev, the only thing that's going to stop him from winning the Tsukuba Super Free Split A race is when something calamitous happens like a crash. But right now, nothing of that note happened so far. And now Damashnev only has 30 more laps to clear basically this entire race. And right now, it's been very, very convincing from Vlasa Damashnev. If he want to give him the title King of Tsukuba, now's a good time to give him, because he has been winning in all of the starts that he has had in Tsukuba so far. He has won the Tsukuba 400 Split B race last year, and he's going to be set on winning Formula Hololive's first trip to Tsukuba, the Tsukuba Super Free Split A race. He's going to have 100% hit rate in 2 attempts if he can hold on to this lead. And if he can hold on to this lead and win it, that just cements his place inside the top of the Split A standings for him to qualify in for the Tsuyo Cup. Damashnev, as we mentioned, has been absolutely superb, almost faultless in the strategy. And you can see here 44.720 for him. Him being uninterrupted just means he can bang in fast laps after fast laps after fast laps. And if he so desires, he can try to lap everyone 3 times. with everyone setting a 46.1, Damashev being the only one setting a 44.7. It's now down to Damashev on how much of a gap he can have to basically dominate everyone and win this Tsukuba Circuit Split A race. Meanwhile, everyone's just battling for second. The Hoshizano Rio trying to clear the lap car of Richie Rod once again. Well, you can see here there might be a side-by-side battle here between Hoshizano Rio and another driver here that looks like Johan Sinful, but the gap is just not there. Side by side goes Hoshizano Rio, or rather that is the other driver, that is Raijin Kaczynski. Apologies for that. Raijin Kaczynski trying to battle Richie Rod for 11th place, but Raijin Kaczynski is trying to hang around the outside. Well, you can see here Kaczynski against Rod. And right now it's still Rod with the advantage. Rod gets shuffled off, or rather that was Caminero Riba being shuffled off, or rather it's Lorenzo Ricci. Fabio Mendes getting shuffled off. Now Lorenzo Ricci now trying to clear past Fabio Mendes. And now Ricci gets up into 4th place, but there's going to be a high chance of a retaliation from Mendes. And that's what is transpiring right now. Mendes is trying to clear Lorenzo Ricci. Down the inside goes Ricci at the left-hander, but it's not going to be enough. Fabio Mendes will now have that 4th place. Rio, Hoshizano Rio, Lorenzo Ricci, and Fabio Mendes will have their studio statuses saved after this round if they can hang on to their positions right now. And, you know, with everyone pitting, let's take a look back into the progress chart. Damashev has done absolutely amazingly in the strategy cycle, being the only one to up for a mid-race pit instead of pitting very early on. Lorenzo Ricci, of course, doing a very good job, starting 9th. He's now up into 4th place. Tyler Williams started 14th, and there was a bit of contact. There was a bit of smoke. And that's going to bunch the other drivers back here. There's going to be side-by-side between Kaczynski and Rod, and also Lorenzo Ricci and Fabio Mendes. There might be contact, but we probably don't know who where that came from. Oh, you can see here Williams and Tanneral also trading glove between each other. Williams continues his ascendancy up front. He started 14th, he's now up into 6th place. He's gained 8 positions from the start. Russell Carrascio hasn't had the best race so far, being held up in the pits in one of the pit stops by basically a slow final pit stop. Same goes for Crystal Salman, who have lost a considerable chunk of positions, 10 and 9 positions respectively. Laps complete. We haven't been seeing this even in Hololive DP3, but in Formula Hololive it's completely possible. Just wanted to show you just the amount of chaos that can unfold right now. Everyone is at least 2 laps down to the race leader Vladislav Damashev, and well, everyone else at the very least. But in terms of individual battles, we might still be seeing something a bit more. As you can see, Antaro tries to get close to his fellow Okakoro and fellow Hololive Gamers teammate Sean Pauly. The tires are about to really start falling off, especially at the front right for a lot of these drivers. Lots of wear on the rear as well as the front left. And also the front and rear right as well, but not as much as the front rights. Right now it has simmered between the rest of the drivers here as we're about to get into 20 laps to go. As you can see here, Epson Tanneral is about to be cleared by Vladislav Damashev. Vladislav Damashev clears Tanneral first. And dispatches Tanneral no problem. And now he's going to be aiming to do the same for Sean Pauly. And just a bit of a confirmation, Tanneral is now gone 3 laps down. Marketo's right over here. So we might be seeing a driver go 4 laps down. Damashev showing insane amounts of pace. Everyone's lapping under 46s and 47s. Damashev's only lapping under 44s and 45s. So let's see Vlasa Damashev slice up the field where in the event that there's no other racing action. Not the right place to make the pass, but he should have a very good amount of grip at the final corner. Let me see how much of a gap he can really close to Sean Pauli. That's a very good exit over the final corner here, just showing a lot of grip with these fresher tires and a lower set of fuel, or rather equal amounts of fuel to the rest of the pack. And that's going to be Vlasa Damashev clearing Sean Pauli as well. Up next is Michael Turner, currently last in the field right now, not going to be doing himself any favors to qualify for the Suyo Cup as it stands. A pretty decent exit from the final corner is going to do, or the penultimate corner, as he has a very, very solid exit from turn 11 and now coming into turn 12. You can see here a lot of drivers just lost a lot of time in turn 12 at the very least, and now you can see here Vlasa Damashev closes in very, very quickly there. Will you think we'll move down the inside this time? The answer will be no. Michael Turner manages to hang on the inside, hang on close to Michael Turner. And now Damashev looking to find some opportunities to pass Michael Turner, and diving down the inside probably goes Damashev, has to back off just a bit to give him room to attack on the final corner. See how much time he's absolutely gained on that second part of that final corner. Will it be enough? The answer will be no. Damashev will stay where he is at the moment. Getting close there to Michael Turner, but Michael Turner's opening up too much space there at that corner, and that might open the door for Damashev. Now Damashev is going to continue his climb into the top. Damashev just looking to find a way past Michael Turner here, but Michael Turner has been very good on that final corner. Damashev hasn't been able to find as much time as he should be. A late dive bomb might be necessary, but right now he's not going to risk it. He knows he has the lead to keep. Now the might open up for Damashev, but it's quickly closed down. And now Damashev might think of a dive bomb at turn 11. He might think of a dive bomb down at turn 11, but there's no space. He's gonna go for a very good exit off of turn 11 to immediately go side by side with Michael Turner, but will there be enough space at the end? And you can see here Michael Turner is going to struggle with the grip compared to Damashev right now. And now Damashev will finally clear Michael Turner. And for all the Rosatai watching, this is got to be one of the most dominant races we're seeing in any of the aero competitions. We talked about Zeke Wimberly getting the Grand Slam. But sure, Damashev hasn't been on pole position. Sure, Damashev hasn't been leading the most laps. And sure, Damashev hasn't had the fastest lap when it counted. But he's led the most laps, and he's about to lap everyone by at least 2 laps, maybe 3 laps, if really falls under the Vlasa Damashev. We could be seeing something historic here in Formula Hall at Japan. No driver has basically been, has actually been lapped by the leader in, I believe, any of the aero competitions, especially if that second place is actually 2 laps down from the leader. Right now, Damashev continues his ascendancy on the attack. Damashev tries to find a way past Tyler Williams. Trying to find some space, trying to get a good exit off of turn 11. He might be looking for that. Oh, a bit of a messy exit there at turn 11. That's not going to do him much favors. now Damashnev. Trying to get close to. Ooh, that's going to be Tyler Williams there. Pushes Tyler Williams a bit off. But right now, Damashnev needs to get a good exit on this set of corners here to at the very least get close to Tyler Williams at the hairpin. But right now, nothing comes of it. That's the back off this time. Just want to confirm Michael Turner's already 4 laps down to Vlasa Damashnev. Salman to, I believe, Sean Pauli have now gone 3 laps down to Vlasa Damashnev. Tyler Williams is the last driver 2 laps down to Damashnev. Liu is the first driver 2 laps down to Vlasa Damashnev, and he's in 2nd place. Damashnev is on the attack against helpless cars who have made pretty questionable strategies. Damashnev isn't just here to race, he's here to win, and sometimes he's not just here to win, he's going to be winning in probably one of the most emphatic fashions. 2 wins in Hololive GT3 will be accompanied by 1 Formula Hololive win, as he already completes 111 laps here in Tsukuba Circuit, leading the most laps out of anyone so far by a country mile. And now he's going to be set to lead these final 12 laps of the Tsukuba Super Race Split A race. It's going to be close to midnight here in Japan. 14 minutes and counting down before midnight strikes. Hopefully Damashnev is able to finish this race before midnight. That should be everyone's target. A lot of the Japanese people might be too sleepy to continue watching this, but at the very least we are keeping this VOD open for all of the Japanese people watching. But unfortunately we still we're looking for Japanese commentators, and so we cannot have these races streamed in Japanese, unfortunately. Now we can see here Tyler Williams leaving too much space for Vladislav Damashnev, managing to defend as well as he could. Damashnev is quite unfazed here by the radar. Tyler Williams tries to contain an unstoppable force, but it's going to be to no avail. Vladislav Damashnev is going to be clearing Tyler Williams. Look at the superior grip there on Vladislav Damashnev. He's going to be clearing Tyler Williams, no problem. Now he's going to be looking to clear Crystal Salman. Oh, and not before. Look at this. Tyler Williams tries to give some trouble to Vladislav Damashnev. And now at the same time, he's going to be trying to clear Crystal Salman, who has had a pretty poor race up to this point. He's not going to be set to finish inside the points for ASCII in Formula Hololive. Talk about a contrast of fortunes. In Hololive GT3, he has been one of the standard drivers in Hololive GT3 for ASCII, but in Formula Hololive, where ASCII has been shown to prioritize more in this regard, he has been struggling, so it's been very, very weird right now. Right now we're looking to have 10 laps to go here in Tsukuba. Damashnev in complete control of this race. If a crash happened, it's going to be very, very weird if that is going to be the case. Oh, opening up too much space there to Tyler Williams. And his tires might give up by then, but he's going to give it a go. Still. Crystal Salman still ahead by quite the margin, by some margin. Salman also trying to find a way past Rossi Caraccio for that one last point position in 15th place, which offers only one solitary point in this points format. But as you can see here, Salman is hoping for a miracle at this point. The laps are counting down as it stands. Anyways, the midnight almost upon us, and the Tsukuba Super Race Split 8 race almost in the history books. As we mentioned, it has been a very historical moment. It should be almost a very historical moment for Vlasa Domashnev, who has controlled this race since the first pit stop cycles, having a strategy masterclass in him for him to just stay ahead and go for track position. He's having no fault in this race whatsoever. He has driven a very calm and composed race. He might have overtakes here and there, but I'm sure it may be against lap cars. But when he needs to turn on the styles, he turns on the styles, and he does this in very, very convincing fashion. And right now, Vlasa Domashnev is gonna go at it against Christoph Stallman again. Alright, now there's still nothing so far. Lap 118 starts. Right now, nothing really changes at the front, and now you can see here Stallman having to move over for Domashnev. Maybe this will be the thing that will help Stallman get that final points position, because that if Domashnev disrupts Horacio to a huge extent, then Stallman might have a chance to get that final points position. And right now you can see here Horacio is about to get shuffled off wide. Let's take a look into Christoph Stallman and on how this might affect him, as he might go for an opportunity to steal a position away from Horacio. But unfortunately, there's not much trouble that Horacio was being put on, except right here. And as you can see here, Horacio has really opened up on himself. Christoph Stallman might take a dive on down the inside. Gets closer than he has ever been. But there's nothing to note so far. On the final 5 laps here in Tsukuba, there might be some late race drama coming on. We'll have to wait and see. Lap 124 laps to go, and more side-by-side battles between Vlasa Domashnev and that looks like Callum Gibbons, who's currently down in 14th place. Stallman currently down on the first positions outside the points in 16th place. Still trying to find a way past Russ and Courage, trying to find some gaps to Horacio. Horacio goes a bit off, goes off slightly wide. Stallman might take advantage of this opportunity, but he might just be too far back. Too short of a straight, too many corners. Difficulties in overtaking, very much obvious for everyone to see. 3 laps to go. Most of the drivers are in lap 119 on 118, but not for Vlasa Domashnev. He's currently on lap 121. 120 laps complete for the Japanese registered driver so far. It might not be on for Christoph Stallman at the end at this rate, as he's trying his best to get his ASCII number 12 car inside the points, but nothing has come of it. An ultimate lap has already started here in the Tsukuba Super Race Split A race. Let's take a look back into Vlasa Domashnev and see what has been going on. One last check in the progress chart. You see one of the biggest gainers in this race, Alex Grant, started at the back, now in 9th place, gains 8 positions in the process. Tyler Williams started in 14th place, has gained 8 positions as well. He's now up in 6th place. Lorenzo Ricci started 9th, now up into 4th. He gained 5th places, against 5 places, because this kid started 16th and is now in 12th after, and then he gains 4 places. One of the biggest losers, unfortunately, for it goes to Francis Horacio, Stallman, and Michael Turner. Errors in the pit stops lead to them being down where they are right now. The final lap has already started for easily the most dominant driver here in this race. The Tsukuba Super Pre-Split A race will have to go to Vlasa Damashev at this rate. Aces the strategy to perfection, knows the gap, plays for track position, and that has paid absolute dividends for him. No other driver has finished the race beating everyone and basically leading them by 2 laps. But that's going to be the but that will change there for Vlasa Damashev, who's about to cross the finish line here in Tsukuba as the first driver to lead everyone by 2 laps. Vlasa Damashev crosses the line. He wins the Tsukuba Super Pre in dominating fashion. Take a bow to Vlasa Damashev. All of the Rosenthal have got to be very excited about this win. Aki Rosenthal too. She's been giving a lot of support for both Hololive GT3 and Formula Hololive, showing her support to Damashev's back, and obviously he's been showing a lot of pro skills in him. And obviously, despite Aki Rosenthal not being the most popular member, Damashev keeps on delivering when it matters. Which really finishes second for Sakamata Chloe, but we will take a look into the gaps here right now. Vlasa Damashev, of course, is the winner of the Tsukuba Super Pre-Split A race, with really second for Sakamata Chloe, which is basically, I believe, his first podium finish in aero competition, so congrats to him as well. Hoshitsuno Ryo finishes his first race in aero competitions, his first race for Nakiri Ayame inside the podium, and what a way for Nakiri Ayame's team to grab their first points of the season so far in Formula Hololive Japan. Lorenzo Ricci 4th for Hoshimarin. That should help him at the very least stay up top inside the top 5 in the Formula Hololive Japan Split A standings. With Fabio Mendes 5th place for Hakuri Kori, he will now get inside the studio spots as well. These drivers in the top 5, they will have a very good chance of staying inside the studio spots. Tyler Williams 6th for Armani Canada. He should have some security as well for Armani Canada, alongside Sean Pauli 7th for Inugami Korone. Alton Tara might end up with an 8th place finish, his first finish outside the top 4 in this season so far, but he at the very least can take solace to the fact that he's still scoring consistent finishes. Alex Grant 9th place, given his context, it's got to be a very good win for him. So does Johan Sinful, kind of in 10th place. And at the end, only 2 drivers finish 2 laps down to Damashev, and with the rest of the drivers finishing 3 laps down. Girard for Shirakawa Fubuki 11th, 12th place goes to Rashi Kaczynski for Yutsuki Choko, 13th for Shishiro Botan and Kaminari Riba. Kyle Gibbons finishes 14th for Roboco, days after Roboco have confirmed her 1 million subscribers. It's not the race he had in mind, but at the very least he's delivering something for Roboco and Robosa. Rustin Crusher ends up scoring the final points positions ahead of 2 other drivers for Lapis Darkness, because Osalma has to be gutted that he misses out on a possibly great point stay for him after an error in the pit stops basically held him back. Mike Turner as well is the last place driver for Shiro Gane Noel in the 17th place. Let's go into a bit of an intermission to see one of the incidents that has happened on lap 100. So we're gonna see what has actually happened. So we're gonna see what has happened here. So we'll see what's happened here and see if there is any contact on lap 101 or lap 100. And as it stands right now, nothing is to note here. So if you want to know where the pandemonium kind of starts, it might be around right here, but I cannot confirm where actually, because there had been a bit of a slide. Just to check on what's going on here. Unfortunately, there has not been much to report, but so we're just gonna save the replay as it is and just call this a night. The Tsukuba Super Race Split A race has concluded with some very, very interesting racing at hand. And with the results currently being processing, we're just waiting for confirmation on who is in the second place right now, because we know that Vlasa Damashev has basically controlled this race from from like lap 10 to the finish. So let's take a look into the championship standings for this time before we end the stream finally. So here we are at the end of after 3 races so far. We have Vlasa Damashnev for Aki Rosenthal extending his lead over Lorenzo Ricci by nearly 200 points. If he can score a good result in the next race in the Mia Super Prix in Suzuka, he will be crowned the Split A champion and will earn himself, I believe he has already earned himself automatic qualification for the CO Cup. Lorenzo Ricci second place for Hosha Marine, number 5 car at Sarantanara for Nakamata Kayu in third with 331, 317 respectively. Kaminari River and Tyler Williams hang around in fourth and fifth for Botan and Kanata respectively. Really, Richie Ross 6th and 7th for Chloe and Fubuki respectively. Sean Pauli, Rustin Kurashu, and Hoshizona Rio currently 8th, 9th, and 10th. Speaking of which, Paulie and Kurashio currently tied between each other, but I believe Rustin Kurashio has 8th place because he has finished in 3rd in Sepang. So that is that. And those are the 10 drivers that will be inside the Suyo spots, the Suyo Cup spot, with 2 races to go. Michael Turner 11, Fabio Mendes 12, Colin Gibbons 13, Roger Kaczynski 14, and Crystal Salomon 15th. For Noel, Koyori, Roboco, Choco, and Askew respectively. These are the first 5 drivers outside of the CEO spots. And coming into the final 2 drivers, it's Alex Grant for Yuki Hanalami and Johan Sinful for Natsuhiro Matsuri. With that being said, we'd like to thank everyone for tuning into the stream. It has been treated to a good amount of exciting races in the first half of the race at the very least, and again in the second half, an absolute dominance from Vladislav Damashnev. We hope we can see more of we hope we are able to see more on the close racing in the second race, in the Split B race. We hope everyone has been enjoying the Split A race. I'm on the commentary booth, and you've been watching the Formula Hololive Japan Qualifiers Round 3, the Tsukuba Super Prix. We'll see you tomorrow for the Split B race.